Imagine walking into a convenience store in 1987. The aisles are stacked with things that don't exist anymore. Not variations, not updated versions. Completely gone. You reach for a pack of Bonkers, and giant fruit falls from the sky in your imagination because the commercials have played so many times. You can't separate the candy from the absurdity. You grab a pudding pop from the freezer, a pack of fruit wrinkles for your lunchbox, and a sleeve of Keebler Tato skins, because they're thicker than any chip you've ever tasted. You pay, you leave, and you don't know it yet. But you're living in a moment that won't last. Today, we're walking through 10 snacks that defined the decade, then disappeared completely. Bonkers, a rectangular fruit chew with a soft outer shell and a tangy center that exploded in your mouth. Made by Nabisco starting in the mid-1980s, Bonkers came in grape, orange, strawberry, watermelon, and chocolate. But the candy wasn't what made Bonkers famous. The commercials were. People would take one bite and a giant piece of fruit would fall from the sky. The tagline was, "Bonkers bonks you out." A Southern woman would deadpan, "Some folks think Bonkers is gum." Watch someone get hit by a massive watermelon, then add, "They know it's candy now." The absurdity worked. Bonkers sold millions. Then sometime in the late 1990s, Nabisco discontinued them. Leaf Brands bought the trademark in 2012 and promised to bring them back by 2015. We're still waiting. Pudding Pops, a frozen treat that tasted like pudding on a stick. Jell-O made them in chocolate, vanilla, and swirl. They weren't ice cream, they weren't popsicles. They were something in between, creamy, smooth, rich. Bill Cosby was the face of the product in commercials, which made them even more popular with families. Kids begged for them. They were a freezer staple for years. But by the early 2000s, Pudding Pops were gone. Sales had declined, and Jell-O discontinued them. Other companies have tried to make versions, but none taste the same. Keebler Tato skins. In 1985, Keebler released a potato chip made from actual potato skins. The skin and the flesh together, which made them thicker, sturdier, and way crunchier than regular chips. They came in flavors like cheddar cheese and bacon and sour cream and chives. The timing was perfect because potato skins were trendy as an appetizer, and Keebler captured that in a bag. Each chip looked like a real potato skin, one side pale, one side dark and crispy. People loved them, but by the early 1990s, Tato skins were gone. Fruit wrinkles, tiny, chewy fruit nuggets that looked like colorful raisins but tasted like candy. Made to resemble wrinkled fruit, they came in wild, fruity flavors and were packaged in pouches perfect for lunchboxes. Kids loved them because they were bite-sized and easy to finish in one sitting. Fruit roll-ups eventually took over, and fruit wrinkles quietly disappeared. Ecto Cooler. This bright green high C drink was launched in 1989 as a Ghostbusters tie-in. It featured Slimer on the box and tasted like orange and tangerine with a citrus punch. Kids went crazy for it. The neon green color made it special, juice that looked like it came from another planet. Ecto Cooler lasted into the 2000s before being discontinued. It came back briefly in 2016 for the Ghostbusters reboot, but it's gone again now. Hostess Pudding Pies. In the mid-1980s, Hostess released a handheld pie filled with creamy pudding instead of fruit. The shell was chocolate-coated, and the inside was thick, gooey chocolate or vanilla pudding. These weren't elegant. They were messy, indulgent, and exactly what you wanted for a sugar rush. They disappeared after a few years, outlived by their fruit-filled cousins, Oreo Big Stuff. In the 1980s, Nabisco made one giant Oreo the size of your palm. It came individually wrapped in plastic and was essentially a regular Oreo scaled up to absurd proportions. Kids loved it because it felt like a challenge. The Big Stuff lasted from 1984 to 1991, then disappeared. Oreo eventually brought back the concept with the Mega Stuff. But the original Big Stuff was something different. Keebler Magic Middles, a shortbread cookie with a fudge, peanut butter, or chocolate chip center. Introduced in 1989, these cookies were the prize find in any lunchbox. The shortbread was buttery and crumbly, and the center was soft and sweet. Magic Middles lasted until 2011 before being discontinued. People still talk about them online, begging Keebler to bring them back. Squeezits, fruit drinks in plastic bottles shaped to be squeezed. Launched in 1985 by General Mills, Squeezits came in red punch, orange, grape, and cherry. By the 1990s, the bottles had faces and names, like Silly Billy Strawberry and Berry Bee Wild. Kids loved them because they were fun to drink and fun to play with. You literally squeezed the juice out. Squeezits were discontinued in the early 2000s. Space food sticks. Developed by Pillsbury under contract with NASA, these chewy snack bars were inspired by astronaut rations. Early versions even went to the moon with Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin in 1969. By the 1970s and 1980s, they were marketed to kids as a snack that made you feel like an astronaut. They came in chocolate, peanut butter, and caramel with a soft, chewy texture. Kids ate them and imagined they were preparing for space missions. Space food sticks disappeared by the end of the 1980s. These 10 snacks didn't fail. They succeeded, sometimes spectacularly. But success in the snack world is temporary. Trends shift, tastes change, companies move on. What was everywhere one year becomes impossible to find the next. If you ever bit into a Bonkers and imagined giant fruit falling, or squeezed the last drops out of a Squeezit, join us by hitting like and subscribing. Leave a comment. What's the one 1980s snack you miss most? The snacks are gone, but the taste of them lingers.